Whether you're downsizing or furnishing your new home or apartment, designing for smaller spaces can feel a bit overwhelming. But what if I told you the way that we design homes here at the Furniture Mall can be applied to any home of any size? My name is Mary Stithem, and I'm an in-home design specialist at the Furniture Mall. Today, in this video, I'm going to give you some simple tips and tricks on how to design for smaller spaces. And by the end, you'll leave with enough knowledge to make your new space both functional and beautiful. Let's begin. Before we get into aesthetics, it's very important to remember to be intentional with how we fill the space with furniture. I encourage you to follow what I call my rule of 2. What I mean by that is I typically allow approximately 2 feet of space between all major pieces of furniture in a room. This will, 1, allow the space to be much less cramped, as well as give the space much more functionality. This brings me to my next point, and this point I really want to hammer home: functionality. Especially when it comes to small spaces, functionality is incredibly important. I highly recommend looking for pieces that have dual purposes. Examples of this might be an ottoman, which can both be used as a cocktail table as well as a footrest. Other examples might include nesting tables. Nesting tables you can use as a singular end table, but you can also pull them out and use them as multiple end tables at once, and then put them all back together to save space later. I also recommend looking for pieces that you can have extra storage in. Basically, you need to make sure that most of the pieces in your space, while they may not be able to be large, you can use them for multi-uses. Overall, it's super important to know how much room you're working with in your space, to know how your furniture will fit and function in that space. But now that that's through, let's talk about aesthetics and how to accessorize your room to be more beautiful. For accessories, I like to focus on 3 main concepts: color, texture, and shape. My general rule as a designer is every piece in a room needs to include at least one of the 3. So first, let's start with color. For colors, I like to focus on 2 different things: neutral colors and accent colors. I recommend using neutral tones for larger pieces of furniture like couches, chairs, or occasional tables. This allows them to blend with just about any space. That way, you can use accent pieces like pillows, blankets, plants, artwork, or rugs to add color to your space and give it life. If you're somebody who likes to change your space throughout the seasons, I would highly recommend this approach. By using accent colors, you can change your space for the different holidays, seasons, or just based off of your personal taste and personality. But by keeping the larger pieces in the space in a more neutral tone, it really allows the space to be more versatile and to cater to your preferences and tastes throughout the years. Up next is texture. Texture can be an incredibly important aspect when designing your space. What I mean by texture is furniture that's going to have fabrics that have more designed lines. It's going to have extra threading with different colors. It's going to have more shapes or patterns for the eyes to follow. What this does is it creates motion in the furniture. It gives the eyes more to look at. For example, look at these 2 sofas with a similar color, but one has little to no texture in the fabric, and one has lots of texture in the fabric. It changes the way that you perceive it, doesn't it? Texture is just another way to give life to your space. Now let's take a look back at our example. This chair here doesn't have much texture in the fabric. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add accessories that do have texture, like this blanket, or this fuzzy pillow, or even this vase that has some weave on it. The texture adds movement and something to look at in the space. Finally, we have shape. Now, in most modern homes nowadays, you're going to encounter a lot of angular, blocky spaces, especially in the Midwest. Just take a look at your space right now. Is your room shaped rectangular or square? Are your door frames curved or are they blocky? Now, while all of that is completely fine, one way to add a little bit of contrast is by adding furniture pieces that have different shapes to give it a little bit of a pop. For instance, having more rounded furniture like end tables, ottomans, or picking out sofas or recliners that have rounded armrests can help to soften a cramped, angular room. The primary takeaway from this is that you don't want your room to be too uniform or blocky when it comes to the space. You don't live in a doctor's office. This is your home. So by adding shape, it definitely creates a more warm environment for you to live in. Before we wrap it up today, I would love to give a special shout out to our partners at Brewster Place here in Topeka, Kansas. We really appreciate them letting us use their beautiful spaces to film this video today. We really love being partnered with such a great member of our community, so thank you so much. Taking what you learned from this video can help you make your new space feel more like the home that you deserve to live in. If you would like to learn more about design or furniture, I recommend visiting our website for more helpful videos and articles. I also encourage you to stop by one of our locations and visit one of our in-home design specialists. We have a wealth of knowledge and experience that we would love to share with you. Thanks for watching, and oh yeah!